We're beach fishing a high tide after dark. Hi, my name's Roger Osborne, and this afternoon I'm pretty pumped to be down here with my good buddy Loza.
Hey.
And Loza is always excited for a fish, aren't you, mate?
Oh yeah.
So we're pretty keen actually. We've got a high tide just after dark. We're going to be showing you everything that we're doing and just discussing tactics. I'll show you my rods, reels, baits, rigs, etc. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. We really appreciate that. Let's get into the fishing. Where I live, there's quite a selection of beaches to fish from. Really, it's a luxury. But it's like that right along the east coast. There's a number of places I could have fished this evening that probably you'd catch fish at all of those places. But I've chosen this particular spot because I'm fishing towards the end of a beach near a headland, and there's a parallel gutter or trough that runs along the shore here with a sandbar behind it, and then it goes along and then it funnels out beside the headland. As it gets to my right near the headland, there's quite a bit of current there, so I've walked away from the headland to get away from that strong current as the water funnels out there. My plan is to come up here where I can find a bit of relief from the current, and we're going to fish until after dark. We've got a high tide about 40 minutes after dark, and the plan is to wait around and see if there's any Mulloway that come into this trough. And Mulloway don't like strong currents in general. They like to find places where they can find relief from the current, and this looks pretty good. So if we've got some lovely baits out there, once it gets dark, we're really putting ourselves in a position to catch a big fish. In the meantime, I certainly expect that we're going to catch bream, whiting, salmon, different species. We also could potentially catch a Mulloway on the worms as well, because we've got some fresh worms, which I'm going to put a bit of worm on. Just going to bait up. So the first thing I'm going to do is what I often do is I'm going to fish with a double hook rig with beach worms, and then when it gets a little bit closer to dark, I've got some squid and some octopus that I caught. And Laurie and I'm with my good buddy Laurie, as you know. Laurie and I are both going to put a line out with either some squid or some octopus on it, and just patiently wait in the dark for a big fish. You can see I've threaded that worm well and truly up onto that long shank hook. I'm going to break that off there now. Then I'm going to, that's my top hook, and I'll grab my bottom hook and put a worm bait on that as well. It's a stunning afternoon. There's almost no wind. It's a sunny sky, and the moon has already risen. I can see it behind me over there. I think it's a full moon in about 4 nights. So it'll be interesting to see what we catch on this particular tide and phase of the moon. Alrighty, well, I've got my 2 baits on. I'm just going to walk over to the water's edge. I'll take a rod holder with me. So where that wave's breaking now is a sandbar. It's actually not that far out. I would guess from the shore here, it might only be 40 metres. The waves are hitting that sandbar. You'll see little waves breaking there at the moment, but they're hitting that sandbar, but then straight away they hit a trough of deep water. You'll find that the white water stops, and then you see the green water in front of it. So I think you've got a parallel sandbar right along here. Actually, there's like an entranceway to my right, and then over to my left, there's some deep open water over there as well. The kind of funnels out there. So my expectation is, I know there's going to be fish in this trough, and especially out where that edge of that white water is. And you know, I'm sure we're going to catch a lovely feed of fish for dinner. But we want to wait a little bit longer and see if we can get one of those big golden slabs or a couple. A few people have been asking me in the comments about what size star sinker I'm using with my light beach rod. This beach rod, it's rated 4 to 7 kilos. It's actually a great little line. I'm probably pushing the limits a little bit with the sinker, although it's not too heavy. This star sinker, while I don't know how many grams it is, it says on it it's a number 2. So you can see possibly it's a size 2. I've got a little bead just below it to protect the knot above the swivel. You can obviously get smaller star sinkers than that, but I find that this rod, it works pretty well. It just gives me a little bit of weight. I can put a bit of oomph into it, and if I want to get some distance, I can.
I'm trying not to wreck anything at the moment, but all heck's broken loose. However, I've got to the bottom of it, so I'll fix that one. I'll just put another one on this and I'm ready to rock and roll. Can't wait. I just going to thread this little puppy on here like this. Some worms we caught earlier on. That's a number 4 bait keeper hook. Sort of, not really a long shank, but kind of medium long. You put as much as you can on. Well, I like to put as much as I can on, thread it up the line a bit, and leave a bit of a tassel hanging. That's not the best presentation, but that will do. And yeah, see how we go. So earlier I just rigged up for a bigger bait on one of the other rods, and I got in quite a mess, so it took another 10 or 15 to sort it out. However, that's ready to roll. So here we go. Move over, Rog. So, Rog, the water's pulling to the right?
No, I haven't cast out yet.
Oh, okay. Your sinkers are heavier than mine, so I'll go underneath you.
Oh, yeah, I'm a little bit heavier, so maybe you go on that side.
Yeah.
I can't see a lot of water movement, Laurie.
Well, I can see it's moving a bit. You help on this side, I'll help on that side.
Okay.
And we'll see how that works out.
Looks pretty good to me.
And yeah, let's do it. Okay.
Water's not too cold. Not yet, anyway. So I'm aiming to land my bait on the sandbar pretty much and then pull it back a little bit. Yeah, that's about the right spot. Pretty much landed in the white water, out the back on the edge of the white water. Okay, let's see how long it takes to get a bite, Laurie. I mean, that looks so fishy to me. It really does. I wouldn't expect it'll take too long. You should time it. Hey, I'm getting a bite. Oh, come on, look at that. That was probably, I don't know. That was probably 30 seconds or something. I'm not sure how long that took to get a bite. It's kind of feeling a bit salmony because it feels too big for a bream. Although this is my relatively light rod. You'll probably get a bite again. You'll probably get one pretty quick.
I didn't get out very far with that one. I'll have to go again.
I'm going to come over this way because he's heading to your side a little bit. I'm going to try and get away from you so I don't get you tangled. Yeah, he's hanging into the right, so typical salmon behaviour. He's come in close and gone down the beach. He's actually flying around pretty quick, but I'm going to be able to get him straight in. He's only small, Laurie. Look, he's only a small one. You know, this salmon will be a perfect size for a fillet bait. So I'm going to keep him for bait. So he's a beautiful little fish. You can see all the markings down here. It's amazing. They're a stunning looking fish, really. So he's absolutely engulfed that worm. And I'm not going to bleed him because I want to use him for bait, so I'll just spike him in the head to put him out of his misery, and then we'll use him for bait later. So I'm just going to fix up my baits, just tidy up my top worm bait, put a bit more bait on the bottom one, because I caught that salmon on the bottom hook. This is still the same worm that I used to put my first 2 baits on. I'm using kind of the bottom half of the worm now, which is a little bit thinner and bloodier. I'm finally ready to chuck my line out again. See what happens. Such great looking conditions for beach fishing. It'll be interesting to see what variety of species of fish we get in this particular terrain. I'm getting a bite already. Oh, sugar. That was quicker than last time. I seem to be casting in the salmon spot, Laurie.
Would appear so.
Okay, it's not a big one once again. I think he's just, would you believe? Here we go. Come in with this wave. It's a double salmon.
Classic Roger catch.
Look at that. Double salmon. I think we might be eating salmon. We actually had some salmon for dinner last night. It was beautiful. Look at that. Double whammy. And really, they both took that in a matter of seconds. Salmon absolutely love beach worms. Well, Loza, I got to go and take these guys off now. You know, I think maybe the Jewies might be feeding on these, because if there's lots of salmon around here, they're kind of a natural food for really big Jewfish.
A couple of slabs to go well later, eh?
Yeah, that's what I reckon.
Yeah. Okay, great.
All right.
Fantastic.
I'm going to keep both of these fish because they've both swallowed the hook.
Looks healthy. Yep, it's a salmon. It's a salmon. Okay. All right, so I will put him in my bag.
I just need to rebait again. Looks like I'll get my top bait back. I just need to sort of put that back on the hook and put a new bottom bait on. I think I'm going to cast in a different spot, just to see if it makes any difference. I've got this worm, I'm going to put him on head first. You can see his fangs. So you see those, he's tried to bite the hook. You can see the black fangs every so often coming out of his mouth. Oh, he's trying to bite me. Anyway, he's going to eat hook. Salmon love this type of setup where you've got some white water next to some deep water. You can pretty much guaranteed to catch salmon in this sort of spot. I used to catch them on the northern beaches in Sydney as well, quite often. Oops. Laurie, I'm going to try on the other side of you just for something different. I'm just coming on the other side, Laurie. I'm going to cast maybe 40 or 50 metres to the south of where I last cast. I'll let this little wave go past, and although there's another wave coming. Yeah, cool. I think there must be a lot of salmon out there. We'll see if they're down here as well. I haven't noticed any real current here, which is great. Kind of what I was hoping. I'm getting a bite. All right. So that was probably 1 minute before I had a bite. And I did cast in a different spot. Get too wet. Hopefully this wave will do it. Yeah. One this time and not two. And he's only lipped, so I can let him go. Gotcha. So you can see the long shank hook's just in the front of his mouth. So I don't need this guy, so we'll let him go. Off you go, mate. Whoa! Don't go up there. You went the wrong way. Let's see where he goes this time. It's going to be quite light with that full moon. Well, not the full moon, but with so much moonlight, it's going to be really awesome. Probably won't need a head torch. Now, this time I've just caught 4 salmon in quick succession, tossing out into the edge of the whitewater. I might just flick it closer to shore this time, not so far out, and see if I still catch salmon or if I catch brim or whiting instead. I'll put a smaller cast in. Yeah, so that's not quite, it's a bit gentler cast. We'll see if I catch a different species. I'm kind of more in the middle of the trough now. But what I'm really liking about this is that there is no current in this particular part of the beach. So that's awesome. It means that when I put my bigger baits out later, I'm not going to have to battle with current. Okay, I'm getting a bit of a bite. What's going on? So I'm in the middle of the trough. I'm just waiting to see. It's going to lean into it. Yep. So I'm hooked up again. This time not casting out as far. So far it's a fish every cast. This one's coming in pretty easily. Well, I shouldn't say this one. I should say this too. It's a double hook up again. So that's 4 casts, 2 double hookups and 2 single hookups. This guy's only lipped, so he's going straight back in. Let's see what he does. They're funny to watch, these guys, when they get in the water and they start taking off. Oh, he's trying to go upstream. There you go, buddy. Now it looks like it's going to be Thai fish cakes again. These are great in Thai fish cakes. And I do have a video on my channel with the recipe for Thai fish cakes. We love them, they're awesome. Really flavoursome, healthy, and the salmon's really good. Have another cast or 2, then I'm going to chuck out a line with some squid on it. May as well put one out fairly early.
Fair enough.
Because, Laurie, there's no current out there.
No, it's pretty good.
Actually, what I'm thinking of doing is I might chuck out some salmon on my one of my other rods. I'll fillet up one of those salmon. I'm going to cut it into a thin strip and put it on a ganged hook setup, which I'll show you while I'm doing it. Okay, keep your eye on, Loz.
Let's try that again. So how long does it take to get a bite?
Oh, you're getting a bite already?
Not yet.
So I can see you're straight out.
Yep.
So I'll just go a little bit to the left.
Okay.
Landed right in that drop-off zone. I might come and stand next to you so we can chat.
I had 2 casts before. I've never seen tangles so big. I had to completely chop everything off and start again.
Wow. Don't you hate that?
Oh mate, it was like, the first one was bad, the second one was a write-off.
Because, you know, when it's this time of the night, you don't like to waste time, do you?
Exactly. Oh no, here we go. Did you get it?
Yeah. Okay. We're going to catch something different to salmon in a minute.
I hope it is.
Okie doke. Salmon again. I'm really tempted to put out some salmon. We'll see if we catch salmon on salmon. Yeah, in fact, I'm going to do that.
It's there's a lot of fish out there. Trouble is, I forgot to send the memo that I was coming. Oh dear.
I'm going to scale and fillet this salmon and put some on for bait. Put him out, there's still a few nerves going, but I'll put him out of his misery. I'm not going to do the perfect fillet. I'm really just going to cut it through here and slice it and run it along the backbone. Just going to like that. So I've got that fillet there like so. And now I'm actually going to just get underneath that rib cage there. So I'm going to cut that straight down the middle. Like that. That's quite a big piece actually, probably too big. It's going to trim a little bit of that bony bit out of there. I might make it just a little bit smaller. I'm only doing that just so it'll fit the ganged hooks a bit better. And I'll chuck this out for burley. So now I'm going to put this fillet of salmon on the ganged hooks. I've just got a set of 3 4-0 ganged hooks, like so, and my plan will be to have the top hook at the top of that fillet. I think I'll put it so that I put the hook through the skin side, like that, the first one. Bring the second one around. You need to put a finger on each side and we give it a bit of a wiggle when you're putting it through. The skin can be a bit tough. Yeah, well that's through. And then the last hook's going to go just through the top of this fillet. Ouch. Got my finger with the barb then. But I didn't pierce it through, which is good. Just pull that around. Just going to get that bit of skin onto there. It's a little bit, there you go. So though, you can actually see there's 3 barbs sticking out of that fillet of the ganged hooks. Or if I turn it over, you can see it's like that. There's a bit of a chunk of flesh at the end, but that's okay. So I'm going to whack that baby out. Taylor would really love that. Possibly a salmon, a big salmon might take it, or a mulloway, or a shark, of course, or a stingray. one of the above. So I'm going to cast this out to the right a little bit of where Laurie and I are fishing, and then I'll move on the other side of Laurie. We'll see if anything wants to nail it. Just walk out a little bit, lean into it. Okay, that went a fair way. Out in the deep water, I'll stick it in my rod holder over here, and then I'll grab my other rod again. I'm just going to set the drag so if something takes it, it can... Alrighty, so I'm going to whack this guy in here and let him do his own thing. Just keep my eye on it. The beauty of using those ganged hooks is that I'm less likely to get bitten off by a shark or a tailor.
You got a big slab out?
Yeah, salmon.
Way to go. I had a salmon on before,
Yeah.
but I dropped it.
Okay.
So,
Well, I'm going to wash my hands and pop it back out there again. Just keep an eye on that rod, see if it buckles over. It's a really stunning afternoon. It's afternoons like this down on the beach, you just are so grateful. Okay. Ooh. I think my camera woman just got a little bit wet. Okay, I would like a different species. I'm getting a bite. Yeah. Still didn't take very long to get a bite then. I think the salmon have been getting to the bait before other fish have got a chance. That moon is pretty big. Now I'm always mindful when I get fish close to shore that I try to wash them up and use the momentum of a wave to help bring them in, because it just doesn't make sense to try and pull a fish up the beach while the water is rushing back with great force. Something's going to give. So you really need to use the waves to your advantage when you're landing a fish. There's a little wave here now, the fish is just there, so I'm just going to help the fish along its way with this wave and bring it up the beach. Okay, so we have another salmon. They're not huge, these salmon, so obviously there's a school of fish that are all about the same size. Okay. I think he's another one for the bag. Well, I'm just going to flop it out there, not cast it too far. That sun is disappearing. The sun's disappearing, mate. Recently, I was fishing at night, and I didn't really have a system for putting a light on my rod, so I asked for some comments, and I got heaps. I got heaps of comments and some great suggestions. And someone sent me a link for some fluorescent tape, which you can just tape onto your rod. So I bought some of that. Someone else sent me another link for clip-on rod lights, which I bought some of them as well. So tonight I'm going to test them out once it gets dark. See how they go. trying to keep this away from my other line. Wow. It's gone down the beach a bit. I'll bring it back this way. Yep, it's a double bunger again. It's another double bunger, Loza.
Look at that.
That's my third double hookup. Another Sammy salmon. He swallowed the hook. I'm going to check this piece of salmon fillet that I threw out. I'm probably going to stop fishing with worms because every time I throw in a hook onto salmon, there's actually a bag limit of 5 Australian salmon per person. We don't intend to catch our bag limit, although we've certainly got a nice feed of salmon. Now my line's gone right down the beach, so it's possible that I've got something on here that has taken this piece of salmon fillet. So let's see what it is. I didn't see my line buckled over, or certainly it wasn't peeling out. So we'll see what this is that has taken that piece of salmon. Okay, just wash it up here. What have we got? Is it a salmon on salmon? Yes, indeed. No, yes, it is a salmon on salmon. I'll be letting this guy go, but there you go. I put a fillet of Australian salmon on and caught a salmon on salmon. He's just lipped, so he can go back in without too much hassle. And I'll put another fillet of salmon back on. This bit of salmon is very tough and hardy. This is the salmon. This is the salmon that I put on before, this salmon fillet. It's extremely hardy. You can see most of the fillet is still there. I just caught that salmon on it. So I'm just wanting to, it kind of got a little bit mangled up. So I'm just pulling that off, taking that off. So that's the fillet that I had out there. You can see it's been a bit chewed there. Not really anything wrong with that. Just going to trim a bit of this rib cage bony bit off it. Because that would fit on there. Okay, so I think I might do that. I think I might actually put this piece on the ganked hooks. Start off by putting one down about here, just pushing that through. You kind of need to have 2 fingers like that with the hook going in, and then push it through in the middle like that. So if I bring this around up here, I'm going to put a finger underneath. I'm going to have a finger on each side. Then I'm going to use my thumb to push the barb through. Just wiggle that around so you can see. Well, anyway, it's hidden in there. You can see it. There's the barb. Then I'll bring this piece around and sort of do a similar thing with my fingers, aiming for the barb to go between my fingers. Yeah, which it did quite easily then. So now I have that lovely piece of meat on there. It's got 3 hooks in it, so plenty of chance for them to hook onto a fish. And I'll toss that out in the water. Then I'm going to rig up my other line with a bit of squid. I've got some octopus and some squid. Both would be good. So I'm going to toss this one out with the salmon on it, and then come back up here and set up for one with squid.
Okay, so I got a little frustrated with getting so many tangles on my other rod fishing light line. I've decided to break out a big gun put a big heavy bait on it, big circle hook, large chunk of salmon, and I've put a big bait out the back as far as I can get it with this heavy rod. We're going to set this one, and I'll probably try and have another go with a light line to see if I can possibly not get tangled anymore. However, I've got a nice big bait here, and I'm going to set that in there. And we'll see how we go.
So I have a roll of this luminous tape. I actually bought 3 rolls, plenty on it. I think it was about $6 a roll. And I've put it on 2 different parts of my rod. I've just wrapped, you can see my line there. So I've just wrapped that luminous tape around there. It's obviously sticky on one side. It's got a backing, you peel the backing off, and then there's some more up there. Now I think, well, let's see what it looks like when we actually remove the light. Well, you can see that looks pretty good. Beautiful. That looks great. So I'm going to whack this out with a bit of squid on it, this rod. Then I'm going to put some tape on my other rod as well. I've also got some of the clip-on glow sticks as well, but we're just going to give this tape a try tonight. I've just got a nice one of the side flaps off a squid. I've peeled the skin off it. You can see there's a bit of the skin there on the edge, that kind of browny coloured. So I peeled it off there to expose the white flesh of the squid. And all I'm going to do, it's just going to keep this really simple. I'm just going to have one hook, and I'm going to pin it in one end of this flap. So I'm going to leave that whole thing without anything in it, but a big fish would just suck that in. If there were small fish biting it, I'd need them to bite where the hook is, but a big fish would just swallow that. I'm just going to leave it like that. So I'm just going to toss that out on my rod that has the luminous tape on it. So that should be good. I already have my other rod out with a fillet of salmon on it, but I'm going to put this in the rod holder and then pull the other one in and put some tape on the other rod. Okay, so I've chucked that squid bait out, and I can, oh hang on, what's going on here? I've got something on my other bit of salmon that I chucked out. It's obviously hooked itself. I'm just going to walk away from my other line. I don't want to get in a tangle with it. So last time on the salmon fillet, oops, wow. I just lost everything. Oh, did I? No, hang on. I thought I did. Whatever I had on got off on the shore. It threw the hook, even though it was on ganged hooks. But I can see here that there's virtually nothing left of that salmon fillet that was on here. Just going to untangle this little bit of a number. Yeah, I can show you here now. Look, that's all that's left of that piece of salmon that was on there. Just trying to see if that's a little bit of a nick in the line. There's a slight nick in the line there, like a fish's teeth have just touched that there. So I'll have to fix that. I think I might have had a tailor on then, Loza.
I pulled mine in before. There was a little crab on the end.
Really?
So I thought,
when you wound it in, it had
yeah, it was a crab.
Amazing.
So I got rid of him and put another bait on, shot it out.
I've whacked a squid bait out on the other rod. Anyway, I'm going to put another salmon bait on this line. Probably retie the leader because I could just feel that little bit of a nick on the line. I caught this little octopus the other day when I was fishing for squid. It actually took a squid jig. So I'm going to get a tentacle off this guy. Just trying to cut up into it a bit more to get the maximum amount of tentacle. I'm going to cut that like that. So I've got a tentacle here of the octopus. I'm going to actually put it on the sand because I want to pull some of the skin off it to expose the flesh, and there's no way you could do it. It'd be too hard to do. Holding on to it, it'd be too slippery, but you can see that lovely white flesh. I don't mind leaving some of it on there, but I want to expose some of this lovely white octopus flesh for the fish. And I'll probably put this whole tentacle on. I'm going to whack it on the ganked hooks like I did with the, yeah, that looks pretty good. Just take a bit more of the skin off. You can see the suction cups underneath the leg of octopus, but if I just get lots of that meat exposed, I think that will be good. I may as well leave the whole thing on there and let it waft around. I'm sure something's going to love that. Look at that, that's a whole tentacle of octopus. I've just trimmed him off a bit, so I replaced the ganked hooks I had before and tied on a new leader. I've only got a 20-pound leader, but I think that will be sufficient. So all I'm going to do is actually put the ganked hook through the octopus leg like that, bring this one up, put that through there, and then put the top part of the ganked hook through the top part of the octopus leg. So really I've got an octopus leg there on a triple hook rig like that, and I've got a lovely tassel hanging off the end. What do you reckon? Give it a go. Okay, so I've got this squid tentacle on. I just wound in my line that had the squid on it, no hook. Where I'd pinned that squid in the end of that piece of squid, obviously a tailor or a shark or something's just swallowed the whole thing and bitten it off. So I've got ganked hooks on with this octopus leg, so that might give me more of a chance. So I'm just going to chuck this out and I have to re-rig the other line. So I got bitten off before using one hook with a piece of squid like this. So I'm actually going to use the ganked hooks because I think it's going to give me a better chance of landing it if it's a shark or a tailor. I mean, otherwise I could rig, but I still think this will be effective with this lovely piece of squid. So I'm going to whack it out. It's actually getting a little bit cooler. Now that the night air has set in, it's quite cold. It's right on high tide now. It's probably about nearly an hour after dark, 45 minutes after dark. Both Laurie and I have been bitten off, either by big tailor or sharks. I've got a piece of squid out on this line, and my other line has an octopus leg out on it. There's plenty of moonlight, so we're just going to wait here, and it's pretty quiet. We had a lot of salmon action earlier. We're just going to relax and enjoy it for a little while. However, it has got quite cold. I've got a t-shirt on underneath this, but I'm feeling it a little bit, and I didn't bring a jacket. So we're just going to spend a bit of time, just be patient and see if we've got something big coming along this trough here that wants to take our offerings. It's a little bit chilly, mate.
Oh, it's a bit cold. I got 2 bites before it went. It was dead quiet. And it went bang, bang, bang. And I was like, and that was it.
So have you got a bit of salmon? Got a bit of salmon on there? Okay. I've got octopus tentacle on one and some squid on another.
Octopus tentacle, squid, salmon.
Give it up.
We didn't tell them, they didn't get the memo, mate.
Well, not yet anyway. I'm feeling a little bit like I'm standing in a fridge.
It's a bit like that.
Oh well, we can handle it. Yeah.
In fact, I think I'm starting to rust.
You're starting to rust. It's a nice night though.
It is. The moon's great. There you go. Bang. You felt that?
Look at this brim out there.
Single bites. What's that?
Because if it was a tailor, it'd ragdoll it. It'd shake it up like that.
Exactly.
Well, I'm going to go and hold on to my other line, Roz.
All right.
See how we go. I'm just going to hold on to it for a second because I just saw this get a sharp, really sharp whack. This has got the octopus leg out on it. It's been a little quiet. Laurie, he's got 2 lines out, both with salmon fillet, bitten off, both of them. I did get bitten off before, but I've got ganged hooks on now, so hopefully that eliminates that. Laurie, we've ordered some pizza.
What?
And it'll be ready on our way home.
Oh. What? They don't deliver?
Oh yeah, no, something's going on. I think it's swimming towards me. I'm not sure what's going on. Do I have anything on? No, I don't actually. That was interesting because my rod bent over.
Right over.
Yeah, this has got squid on it. So I don't have anything on there, but I didn't feel anything when I kind of leaned into it. See, look, the squid bait's still there. See that?
Wow.
It's like a flap of squid.
Well, that bent over a fair way. Maybe something picked it up. Chuck it out again. Something picked it up, went for a swim.
Yeah.
And spat it maybe.
All right, I'll chuck it back out.
That's encouraging.
Cool. Well, it did bend over a bit. It's the first time we've seen that happen. Okay, I'll chuck it out. I think it's just the waves. Yeah, the line's a little loose. Hang on a minute. It's like it just went slack. It's getting washed in. I better check it. So it's probably about half an hour after high tide at this point. I've hooked a few tailor, been bitten off a few times. Haven't really had any big takes, big runs. Got some good bait out there. Look at that. I had that whole tentacle of octopus on there. It's a little bit tangled up here. I think that's just from winding in. Sort this out, but most of my bait is gone. That's all that's left of that octopus tentacle, so it's probably tailor that have chopped that up. Well, I should put another piece on. I'll head back up, keep my eye on my other rod. So I've just put another octopus tentacle on these ganged hooks. It's covered in sand, so you can't see it that well. But I'm going to hold on to it this time. I'm pretty sure I got ravaged by tailor because they pretty much took all the bait off. At least they didn't fray my line. So I'm going to chuck it out and hold on to it, see what happens. Oh, you had a bit of a hit then.
Looks like it.
That bent right over, Loz. That's...
Okay, all right. We've got it.
Oh, it's got a little bit of a bend, that rod, Loz. What's it doing?
Oh, having a bit of a bounce.
Okay. That's on a bit of that salmon, eh?
Worm bait, that one.
Was that a worm bait?
Yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully it'll be a bream, but it feels like a salmon.
What is that? El salmon?
I'd say so.
Let me have a look. Yeah,
Yep, Sammy salmon.
the salmon are still out there. They just love the worms.
Yeah, they do. Got him in the lip though, which is nice. Look at that. They're a pretty fish. Okay, we might let this guy go, I think.
So it's been a good afternoon, Loz. It's a little bit chilly.
A little.
Just a heap of salmon out there, eh?
Oh, one after the other after the other.
So we're taking home a feed of salmon. I'm going to convert them into fish cakes.
That'd be good.
We've had our baits out after dark for probably 2 hours after dark, and we're a good hour after the high tide. We've had some multiple baits out there. We haven't had any really big hookups, have we, Nos?
No, I got bitten off a few times. I expect they were tailor,
Yeah, I think so.
but didn't stop us. We kept baiting up, hooking up, baiting up.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. So anyway, now we're going to go and pick up some hot pizza on the way home and have a hot shower. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.